This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. A prominent Bahamian doctor and former diplomat, a pioneer of the progressive movement here in the country, Dr. Eugene Nuri has passed away. Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell noting that Dr. Nuri died on Sunday evening. A neurosurgeon, writer, and philosopher, Dr. Nuri was also a political activist. He served in the Perry Christie administration as ambassador to both Haiti and Washington, D.C. Dr. Nuri, he was an avid reader of history and an incisive commentary on the public affairs of the country up to his death. The minister sends condolences to his widow, Francois, and the 4 children on behalf of Prime Minister Philip Davis and Mrs. Davis, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper and Mrs. Cooper, all cabinet ministers, senators, members of parliament, and PLP party officers. We here at Jones Communication, the network, also extending our deepest condolences to the Nuri family. When it comes to mosquito habitats, in addition to the heavy rainfall, there are lots of backyard farmers these days that may unwittingly create the perfect habitat for disease-carrying mosquitoes to breed. Deputy Chief Health Inspector Luther Ferguson at the Department of Environmental Health says backyard farming can be a problem and has some good advice for farmers.
It is an issue. People do inadvertently without realizing that they're actually breeding mosquitoes. So the key to that is simply, if you have a container where you're propagating, say, cuttings, you have it in the water, what you should do is every 3 or 4 days, or at least twice a week, you turn that water out, simply rinse off the plants that you're propagating, whether they're cuttings, whether they have roots, rinse them off. Because you find mosquito eggs will adhere to the roots or the cuttings. So if you're propagating, obviously catching plants in water, simply turn the water over at least twice per week. And then you want to rinse out the container as well and rinse off either the roots or the cutting of those plants. Also, the vases, if you have vases in your house with plants, you want to do the same thing as well. Turn over, rinse out the vase, rinse off the plants as well.
We asked Mr. Ferguson if there are any concerns locally or regionally as it relates to mosquito-borne diseases that could potentially impact the Bahamas this summer.
I think given COVID, there was less travel, and so for the past 4 years or so, we've been fortunate in that we didn't have any transmission. Now, all of our mosquito-borne diseases are what we call imported. None are what we call endemic to the Bahamas. So when we do have cases, those cases would come from other countries. And for the most part, once a disease is out there, eventually we're going to get it because, of course, as we see now, the world is much smaller. We have travel in terms of tourists. We have travel in terms of Bahamians. But we've been fortunate for the past 4 years not to have any outbreak.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ferguson says mosquito fogging throughout the various communities and neighborhoods will begin shortly. Additionally, research has shown that if you want to save water for washing and cleaning purposes only, adding any kind of liquid soap or bleach would kill the mosquito larvae. And finally, employees of the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, that's BAMSI, will now be able to access training offered by Thailand International Cooperation Agency. The agency provides free online courses in a number of areas, including sustainable agriculture, food technology, and climate change. BAMSI's president, Senator Dr. Eresia Hepburn, recently met with Faith Maycock, head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Technical Assistance Division, to discuss how BAMSI's faculty and staff might access international training opportunities. While at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the senator also met with Eugene Nuri, acting Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to gain a better understanding of how to successfully negotiate partnerships and arrangements with international organizations. Dr. Hepburn indicated that Mr. Nuri was able to advise her on the proper drafting of a memorandum of understanding in an effort to develop a deeper relationship with lasting ties between BAMSI and other universities and organizations around the world. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. I'm Jareno Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.